So hi, Welcome to Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
Happy Monday.
Happy fucking Monday. Great Monday all around. I'm overjoyed today. I'm very happy.
Yeah, this week is shaping up to be phenomenal.
Things are shaping up to be pretty odd.
Yeah. Gloria and I were talking before this. Things are up. Spirits are high.
Happening. Yep.
Across the board in the camp. It might have something to do with the light calendar week we have scheduling wise. That might be part of it because last week was a lot to say the least.
We gotta fire that scheduling guy.
Yeah, fuck that scheduling guy. If you watched our Infineon High review, I'm sorry for the way I sounded. I watched it back this morning and I was like, we probably shouldn't have shot this so early in the morning, because I sounded better as the day went on because we shot an interview later that day and I sounded nothing like that. It was night and day difference.
That congestion, bro.
I sounded
Crazy
a little
shit.
congested because I was, but I was fucking holy hell. So I'm sorry if you listened to that and was like, why does he sound like that? Last week I did get knocked the fuck out for about 24 hours, but I made it. I made it to
right back.
I made it to the review in time. And I was, ready to go, ready to talk about Fall Out Boy, sounding like I was knocking on death's door, but I made it.
And that's all that matters, man. We got that review out. Throwback Thursday, recorded on a Thursday, posted on a Monday. We had that shit out.
We keep it consistent.
We didn't have to do the remix intro.
No.
Where it gets confusing. And we lose the thread a little bit. Yeah.
It was good. We almost did. I tried. You were like, I can't.
I was like, dog, I have so many fucking cakes too. I can't.
Yeah.
And we did it.
We did it. But I'm sorry in advance. Last week, this past week, went to one show last night. I had Free the Witness playing at the Fire in Philly with a slew of other bands, Path to Glory, Arkham, and Circle Drive.
Glory mentioned.
Yeah, Glory mentioned. Circle Drive played Free the Witness's album release show. They were fucking dope then. They're fucking dope now. They ripped it last night. Arkham was sick. Their first time in Philly. Past the Glory, I didn't catch much of their set because I was powwowing with a couple of members of Free the Witness at the bar. But they sounded good from what I could hear. But I was in the other room because the way the venue was set up is like the bar's in front and then there were doors and the venue was a hallway behind the bar.
The Ritz is like that too. Yeah.
Except this was a dive bar with a room in the back that was probably should have been storage that they turned into a venue. It was like 150 people cap room. It's just basically a hallway. So yeah, I was powwowing in the bar, but I could hear through the wall because there was just a wall between us. Yeah, just a wall. And Free the Witness sounded phenomenal. It was dope to see them. As always, love hanging out with them. I work with them, but I do enjoy hanging out with them. They're a good time. This week coming up, I got the Ghost Club, a couple of shows, New York City and Philly, and then I got Imminence and Landmarks on Saturday, which I'm very excited about. Because I saw Landmarks a year and a half ago when they opened the first leg of that Devil Wears Prada Fit for a King tour. So I'm excited to see them again. I'm excited to finally see Imminence. They're over here, doing another leg of their tour supporting the Black. So I'm excited to finally see them.
I might make my way to that tour. I keep getting ads for it. I'm like, I get it. And I've only been to one tour this year, one fucking show. That might have to be my second one because it's in Norfolk. Fuck, I could rock climb right before and then go home and call it a day. Get sushi. Damn, I'm kind of planning. I think I will be going.
Yeah, I think you should go. I think you should. That would be a good time. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And then looking even further ahead, I've got Wednesday 13 and Dead Rabbits next Thursday. Spirit Box the following Monday after that. So now we're 2 Mondays ahead. And then the used residency is finally coming through. I'm finally getting that
don't
off
even
my
fucking,
calendar.
Don't even fucking talk about that show. Sorry, those shows.
3 shows.
It just fucking pisses me off, honestly, because it's every single show that you're like, oh, I would love to go to this, but I got the used on these fucking this entire fucking week. Burt McCracken does not need a fucking residency. I'm just a hater.
I now have shows every day that week because I have another.
You can't just write that week off.
You know how I went and did that radio thing with Free the Witness. Well, I have that with another one of my clients that week, that Thursday. So that Thursday was open for me. I was going to be chilling, recovering from several shows in a row because I didn't mention anything on that Sunday. But there's a couple of shows I'm flip flopping between. I have.
Which shows?
There's like a EP release show, but the ones you forgot are opening, and they're the Matt in the band. His brother plays drums. I guess their drummer can't play that show, so he's playing Chris, and Chris and I are friends, and Chris was like, you got to come out. So I'm between that and a couple of other shows that have been swirling around on my calendar, so I'll probably be somewhere that Sunday. So that week is just a wash.
Just mark it off.
But I'll be here. I'll be alive at the end of it, being like, I finally got the used residency off my calendar. I'm excited to hear the first 3 albums in full, genuinely. But I'm just as excited to get those shows off my calendar because every other tour also wants to come through New Jersey that week. So, less residency tours in 2025. It went up. I was like, that is the coolest idea ever. And then it started to conflict with everything else, and I was like, this is terrible.
You know what else is terrible? Harry Styles announced that he's working on his 5th studio album.
Yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. That's abysmal.
No, I don't know why I brought that up. He did residencies, so I think that was the connection.
I was at the Madison Square Garden residency. I went one of those nights.
You were. You saw his worst album, right? Was it the Harry's House tour?
Yeah.
Should have been the Fine Line tour. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Sorry, man.
But I'm glad that will finally be getting off your calendar. It's been pissing me off personally, but I'm happy you're excited.
I'm glad what I have on my calendar pisses you off.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to hear about it. They better fucking show up and show out because I know the used has a history of kind of being
interesting.
Interesting. They were good when I saw them with the Don Broco tour. Sorry, the Pierce the Veil, the used tour. Don Broco was there for like 15 minutes. But it's Don Broco, so it's the Don Broco tour.
The Don Broco headlining tour where they were billed second.
Where they were billed third. But yeah, hell yeah. I might do the Imminence tour. I don't know exactly when that is. That's probably
I think it's the day before Jersey, because Jersey caps off the tour.
There you go. So that I might do that, but I need to look at the dates again, and I need to look at my bank account again, and I need to go, should I really drop this much money to Uber there and back and probably get lunch and rock climb?
Yeah, dude, of course.
Fuck yeah, I will.
Dude,
but we'll see. We'll see with action. We'll see. I'm saving it for a car. I'm a car girl.
Go out, have a good time.
But I don't know if I could do
that. Car girl,
I'm saving up so that I could go and I could do that, with my own car.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I fucking love that album, and I was like tweaking out about it, and I've been listening to it like nonstop for like the last month. So I probably should go. I think I will go.
There you go.
I'm gonna go.
I'm glad we've worked through this.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I did just work through. I will be going.
That's good. I'm glad. We do have a couple of albums to chat about, a couple EPs, a couple of singles. It was just pretty much a sprinkle of everything this week. Love those kinds of weeks. Kicking it off, Underoath dropped their new album, The Place After This One. I've been waiting a long time for this. Been waiting a very long time for this. It feels like the singles have been slowly trickling out for a good amount of time now, and the album is finally here, and it's phenomenal.
Can we talk about it for a second? Okay.
I think that's the purpose of this segment.
Of the review?
Yeah.
That can't be true. So, this record is fucking immaculate. So, I I was never worried about, the album, but just because of the singles, they've kind of gone to either, the typical rock, or then they kind of go like this kind of like pop fusion or whatever. There was a part of me that was like, fuck, what if they're kind of going a little too crazy with this? But then I just had to continue to like remind myself it's Underoath we're talking about. This is kind of their thing,
Mhm.
where they don't really have like a genre. They just kind of do whatever the fuck they want and still make it a little heavy occasionally. So, going into the record, Generation No Surrender, Devil, Lost, Survivor's Guilt, immediately I was like, oh shit, so this is a heavy record with a little bit of pop twist, some techno shit in there. Awesome. But then about halfway through, it kind of loses the metal part of the metal pop techno mix, and it kind of just goes into kind of a rock section, but a lighter rock, where it's like, there's still guitars and, bass and drums, the core of it, but it gets like more of a pop format and more poppy elements, as I mentioned, with kind of just like pianos and twinkly bits and just kind of like a mishmash of that. So I think there's definitely like a direct and clear like line of where it goes from the heavy stuff that their typical fans would like to kind of their more experimental, this would be fun at a fucking show shit. So once I kind of got past that, and once I was able to kind of identify it, I was like, okay, this shit still fucks. It's just kind of like, I guess because it wasn't woven in, it was kind of just like a shock, I guess,
Yeah.
because it was a hard line from the metal to kind of the more pop leaning stuff. I still think it's fucking incredible. I think it's a great record. My personal favorites, I have them marked here. I fucking loved Devil. Devil is the second track off the record. It's heavy as shit. There's a great breakdown. It has a little bit of the twinkly moments in it. I think it's incredible. The second half of the record, I really liked Cannibal, even though I'm pretty sure that's the one where it gets a little lighter, which is good. Lighter meaning it's just not a heavy track. It's just kind of not the acoustic track. But obviously still very just a fucking hard left turn from the first half of the record. Outsider's a great closer. And also fuck, All the Love Is Gone is incredible, which was a single. And Then There Was Nothing is also really good, which is the halfway point for the record. All of that to say, I think the record's incredible. Big fan of Underoath. And I think this is fucking awesome. Big fan.
Yeah. The band seems super dialed in and locked in on this album, honestly. Like, I loved Voyeurist. It's what ultimately made me a fan of the band, because I had heard their name around a bunch, but we covered that album cycle. We got to interview Spencer around that record, and I got super into that album after the fact and spent a lot of time with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that album has a lot of atmospheric experimental moments on the record that make for like the first half of the album being like super in your face, and then as the album kind of progresses, it gets kind of weird, which I really like about it, and I think it fits the overall vibe, and like weirdly enough fits the cover art of the album, but could be a turnoff for certain people that just want to get pummeled. And this album is just them basically pummeling you for as many tracks as there are, just repeatedly. 12 tracks, and they pummel you basically 12 times. There's not much letting up, and there's experimentation within the songs, but there's not full moments in the album where it gets like super atmospheric and abstract and experimental, which I think is awesome. But they also like just public facing. They seem very excited to be touring this album, which is very exciting to see, because they've had a tumultuous history as a band. So to see them all very excited about a body of work makes me as a fan excited to listen to the album. Like they even posted like a promo clip to say that the album was out, and they were just like fucking around before, like backstage, and I was like, they're having a good time out there, which is super awesome to see. I love the way the album opens with Generation No Surrender. I think it really sets the tone and the vibe for the album, lets you know that you're going to be getting pummeled a lot with this record. my quite possibly my favorite song on the record is Devil. I heard a live version of that song because they played a few shows as a another project. They played the
Like it was
album
like
in
a
full,
secret?
but they played it under a different project name.
I love when bands do that shit.
So like obviously you knew the singles, but they played as masked people. And when I heard Devil, I was like, that song is fucking awesome.
It's fucking nasty.
Yeah,
Dude.
it's so dope. And Loss is a great way to follow it up. And Survivor's Guilt, basically, like you said, like the first 4 tracks of the album really set the tone. All the Love Is Gone is that what you were saying, like a little bit more straight up pop inspired cut. It's very much straightforward rock with the pop influence. They're not doing anything crazy with that song in terms of really in your face, which is why for me it's like when it was put out as a single, it wasn't my favorite single, and it's not my favorite song on the album either, because there is so much on the record that is very much in your face, and what you expect from Underoath, which is super heavy. That I understand the appeal of the song. I understand why it's a single. I understand why when I listen to Serious Octane, it comes on because it's very much mass appeal, and it's a fantastic song. But there's so many stronger songs on this record that I'm looking for that it falls lower on my list if I had to sit here and rank the 12 songs on the album.
Absolutely.
Teeth is possibly my favorite single. That really set the tone for me with how this album was going to go, and made me very excited for the entire rollout. Also really digging Shame, which is another one of those more so rock, poppy inspired songs. Big chorus, pop inspired chorus, but I'm okay with that. I think the song is very strong. And I've been coming back to, weirdly enough, Vultures. I don't know what about that song it is, but I just keep noticing that song is coming on a lot for me, just in passing listening, because I spent a lot of time with this album over the weekend. There were only 2 records that came out that we're going to be chatting about, and both albums I was very much excited for, but one album only had a handful of singles. The other album was pretty much all singles, so I spent a lot more time with this. But yeah, I've just been really enjoying my time with this album, and wound up liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to, because although I thought the singles were strong, I think that this album and this era of the band stands a lot better as a full body of work versus the singles. It always felt like to me there was something a little bit lacking across the board when it came time for the singles. Like I wanted to be super amped on the album and on the project, but I just found myself always being like, yeah, the song's cool, but like if I'm gonna listen to Underoath, I'm just gonna listen to the album that I'm super excited about from them.
What you're comfortable with.
And that's not always the case for me. There are plenty of singles, and album rollouts where I'm like super amped on what the band is gonna do next. So I'm glad that now, this full body of work, I'm really excited about it. And I think it stands on its own, and it's an incredibly strong body of work. My favorite, again, I got to emphasize, Devil. What a song. It's also, I think that song kind of is one of the only songs on the record that encapsulates like those voyeurist vibes. Which is why I came to that kind of connection today, but it's just such a solid, interesting, eerie track, and I love all of the synth parts layered throughout the entire album, but especially that song, because they really get to shine on that song when the song kind of pauses and it's the synth and Spencer. It's just like it's almost haunting in a way. It's super awesome. They're out on tour. They're going to be touring a lot this year. They're doing both legs of the Rise of the Roach tour with Rise Against and Papa Roach. They're supporting both legs of that, doing some headline stuff around it as well. So plenty of opportunities to see Underoath this year. Rip songs off this record as well as the songs you know and love. So peep the dates for sure. Phenomenal album.
Also, I wanted to note on this record, because of all the synths, I was getting heavy Weekend vibes. I don't know. And when I was listening to it, I was like, I know Shane's gonna fucking pick this up too, but I'm surprised you didn't drop the Weeknd's name, because honestly, it it was so prominent to me. It was just like if The Weeknd did like a rock record where it was still kind of that hazy kind of like vibe, but just with heavy core, I guess. I fucking loved it. But yeah, no, this album fucking rocks. hmm hmm
Hell yeah.
Memphis May Fire dropped their new album Shapeshifter. Holy shit. Okay, so let's start. Majority of this record.
Let's address the elephant in the room here.
We've basically reviewed the record already, track by track. So if you want to do a track by track, just look at the fucking
The past year of podcast episodes, every 28 days or so.
Exactly. We were talking about fucking Memphis May Fire.
Yeah.
So already that is like my one of my least favorite ways to roll out a record because it spoils it for me. They released 8 out of the 10 tracks as singles, which is already just my least favorite way to roll out a record. But that's the way they did it. It's a singles game now, so I completely understand it. If you're trying to reach a bigger audience, if you're trying to really just cast the widest net you can, this is the way to do it, especially because they're already such an established band. Everyone knows the name Memphis May Fire, so if you're constantly putting out shit, you're gonna grab people's attention. Still, boo! Hate it.
It clearly worked last time for them to want to do it again. I'm just putting it out there. As much as it sucks, and I hate it too. I'm not sitting here trying to justify it. It clearly worked. Hence why they did it again. And at this point, I don't want to steal your thunder, but for me, this time around, listening through the record, it bothered me less because number one, I knew what was coming in terms of the rollout. We've been through this once before, and I was like, I got obsessed with Chaotic when it came out, but it was also the first single, so rightfully so. That song blew me the hell away. I couldn't believe that this was where things were going in terms of the next Memphis May Fire era. But I also felt like this time around there was a little bit more attention paid attention to with the track listing, and there was a little bit more intention behind it, because I did notice there were certain songs on the record where they didn't flow together seamlessly, but they went together in terms of track listing, which for me made it feel a little bit more like an album, whereas I didn't get that feeling with the last record. And although I love Remade Misery, I think it's a fantastic album, it did feel a little bit more like listening through a collection of singles, whereas this time it felt like, although I was basically listening to a collection of singles, there was a little bit more attention paid to the track list and felt a little bit more like an album experience. That's personally what I got from it. But I am still not a fan of the rollout. But it works, clearly.
Fuck, dude.
So that's all I gotta say.
I guess, damn. All right. No, you're right. That's completely fair. I mean... Fuck. I still hate the fucking rollout, okay? That's all I have to say, you know? Okay. I'm just gonna say my favorite tracks, because as I said, we've already reviewed all of these. I think as a collection, I think it's a great, great fucking album. I think all of them are solid. It teeters on kind of the balance of super heavy shit that is catchy to kind of more of the radio rock friendly sound. Fuck, I always forget the name of it. It's, what is
Octane
it?
Core.
Octane Core. I always forget because I'm an Alt Nation girl. I don't know what the fuck Octane means, So Alt Nation Core.
My Sirius XM stays dialed to channel 37.
37. It used to be 13 for Alt Nation, and then they changed it. I don't know what the fuck happened.
It's fucked up.
Put it back. So I think it's a great collection of tracks. As I said, I think it's definitely an album that could captivate a big audience, people who aren't necessarily huge into metal, people who are kind of leaning more towards the pop side of rock, not pop rock, but just, the poppier, more mainstream side of rock. I think they did it exceptionally well. My personal favorite, though, is Necessary Evil. It is a fucking nasty ass heavy song. The breakdown's crazy. It sounds how it should sound. With the name Necessary Evil, personally, I think of the Motionless in White song featuring Jonathan Davis from Korn. So I was like, if you're gonna name a track, if you're gonna have a little twin track, it should also be heavy as shit. Was it? Absolutely. This track still fucking is incredible. I believe it is No, it's not the highest stream song off the record. Close to, though, and it deserves every single stream. It's genuinely like I spun it a couple times while I was listening to the record because I was like, fuck, I forgot how much I really like this. Um, then it's kind of after Necessary Evil, the album takes like a shift and it kind of loses, not loses, but it's just energy wise, it declines. It's the other side than Shapeshifter, which are still kind of on the
Shapeshifter is a great
core.
song.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of when it goes to Verses and Love is War, it kind of goes to, I mean, Verses especially is for me such a drop off energy wise, especially after Shapeshifter, because it is the slow track of the record. Granted, I think they placed it in the best spot possible because it's not smack dab in the middle of the record where it kills all the energy and momentum that they had building up. Because as I said, this record is very, I would say, crowd friendly because it's high energy. It's just good music, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Love is War, I think, is a great closer. It definitely has a really big moment. It has a big sound, but still energy wise, it's not pummeling you in the face. It's nothing that's like super high energy rock. It's just a good fucking closer. But again, with Verses, it's just, I can understand why it wasn't a single. Firstly, I mean, putting it next to, you can't put that shit next to Necessary Evil. Like, people will be like, what happened to Memphis May Fire?
Yeah.
You know? So I get it. But goddamn, Necessary Evil, just listening to it again in the context of the record, in the context of the album, I was like, goddamn, this shit might be one of my favorite songs dropped just by Memphis May Fire. So, great album. Loved it. Well done.
Yeah. Another thing I'd like to say, as much as I don't like the rollout kind of guarantees that we're getting like basically the best of what you can get from Memphis May Fire, because there's so many songs that are intended to be singles that the songs are written to be singles. Even a slower song like The Other Side that was a single off the album is still a great song in my opinion because it's written to be a single. So the quality in my opinion, at the grand scheme of things, of what Memphis May Fire is writing for, which is that metalcore, octane core, mass appeal kind of sound, which is fine. I love it. They're one of the best doing it because they're writing so many of those songs to be singles. So I'd just like to get that out of the way as well, because that was in the back of my mind. But I really dig this album. Honestly, I knew I would because we had so many opportunities to cement the fact that whether or not this album's good. But yeah, the way it opens with Chaotic is just, I love that we just keep pummeling the fact the rollout.
Because it fucking sucks.
Chaotic is a phenomenal opener. That song still blows my mind sometimes when I hear it. It's nothing like unbelievably crazy, but it's just like catchy ass chorus, and I was just I goosebumps the first time I heard that song. Genuinely, I turned it on because it came out. I remember the day it came out. I don't think it came out like at 12 a.m. It like dropped at like a weird time. I was driving to work. I threw it on, and I didn't know what to expect. It was totally blown away. And it kind of just, as I said, remained to continue to be blown away by that song. I think it's phenomenal. Easily one of my favorites off the record. Overdose, the first time I heard that song, similar feeling to Chaotic because it's written similarly to Chaotic. Fucking phenomenal. Necessary Evil is just straight up in your face. I genuinely, like, the last time I saw them was when they opened for Asking Alexandria, which, by the way, they wiped the floor with Asking Alexandria in terms of energy. Holy shit, they upstaged the fuck out of Asking Alexandria. It was their headliner. I was like, I could not, like, I saw it on paper and I'm like, yeah, Asking Alexandria is like 10 years past their prime, so, and that's generous. So this is probably going to go over the way it did. But like, it led up with Archer's the Word Alive and Memphis May Fire, and then Ask Alexandria came out, and they just like walked around stage for an hour after Matty Mullins just left everything of himself on that stage for 45 minutes,
cartwheels and shit.
It was badass. But I thought Chaotic was going to be the crazy song, because that was the song I was most excited to hear live. They played they had like one brand new song out at the time that they didn't play, but they played all the other songs that were out at the time. And Necessary Evil blew me the fuck away hearing that song live. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. I am also a big fan of Shapeshifter. I like what that song is saying. I relate to it. With life things. So listening to that song and getting to the lyrics of that song, that's why I like it. Although I think it's a very catchy song. I like what that song is saying. So, and unfortunately relate to it. So, across the board, phenomenal album. And they did it again. They knocked it out of the park for sure. They're going to be headlining in April and May, and peep the dates. I might be going to Philly's Mother's Day. Got to get approval from the mother. Make sure we're not doing anything for that evening, and then I'll be there. Matty Mullins calling my name. I'll be there.
Matty Mullins, you say jump, I say how high.
Exactly.
That's Meaty Mullins. I still can't believe that's real. He's awesome. Dude. Every time we see him like on Instagram, like a post, which is so rare. It is so fucking rare, but every now and then I'll come across liked by Matty Mullins. I send it to Shane and I say Matty Mullins sighting. That's how much we love this man. Genuinely,
we talk about him all the time.
Mullins. It's like unironically, he's genuinely fucking awesome. I love him so much. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Your turn, sorry. I had shout out Matty Mullins.
Shout out Matty Mullins.
Shout out Matty Mullins, bro.
Amira Elfeky dropped her new EP Surrender. I saw Amira open for The Used last year. I get confused with The Used because I saw them on the same stage in the summer 3 years in a row. So, and then they went from direct support to co-headlining to headlining. I saw her open when they headlined that stage last year.
They tore so
much.
That's crazy.
And when I saw her, I was like, this stuff, this is dope. Because I hadn't really listened to it too much going into the show. Because the set list wasn't public. I also wanted to know what Story of the Year was going to be playing, as well as familiarize myself with whatever The Used was going to be pulling out of, more than likely their first 3 records, because that's pretty much exclusively what they play, which is fine. I love those albums. So I didn't, and like I said, her set list wasn't really out there, so I didn't know what to expect, and I was blown the hell away for the same reason why I love this EP. Very heavy guitar driven. The instrumentals are very heavy, but her vocals are not. They're super haunting, and I
was gonna say siren core
again. Yeah, and it fits the music so well, and it fits her vibe and her stage presence. But the cover art, the cover art perfectly encapsulates the feeling I get listening through this EP, and I think it's awesome, and it's super cool to see more people paying attention to her, because when I saw her open for The Used, it was kind of like, who the fuck is this girl? And now I saw all the big news channels in the scene on Instagram posting about the CP, and she's going on that massive Bring Me the Horizon, Plotting You, and Motionless in White tour, which everyone is conveniently forgetting to say she's the first to 4 on that tour.
It's insane.
And definitely get there early, because she's fucking dope, and the stage show is dope, and the music is awesome. Especially Save Yourself. That song goes fucking hard. It's not on the CP, but goes fucking hard. But yeah, I think it's super awesome. I kind of compare it to, and this is just for my own brain, to a Royal and the Serpent kind of thing. A little bit more on the rock and metal side of things, whereas Royal plays more in that pop punk sphere. But it's similar to me vocally, like that. It's it's that haunting type of what you wouldn't normally expect with the kind of music that they're playing with is what you get vocally from them, which I think is awesome. I think that Royal's great. I think Amira is awesome as well. Take Me Under is dope. I also really dig Fatal Attraction. That song has grown on me. But across the board, all 6 songs on this are phenomenal, and I am excited to see more people paying attention to her, because for a second I was like, no one's paying attention to this, and it's awesome. So I'm glad people are paying attention because it's awesome.
Hell yeah. No, so this was a surprise to me seeing on the playlist. My first reaction was, Shane, what the fuck did you? Where the fuck? What are you talking about?
It was a slow week. What can I say?
I was like, oh my god, you're just fucking adding anything? But then I listened to it and I went, oh.
And then I gave you the backstory about why I put it on there, and now it all makes sense. I was
like, okay, fucking The Used again. Okay, great. On one of their fucking 50 billion tours. Okay. So listening to this record, obviously open mind. I had never heard of Amira before, but I mean, I saw the cover art and I was immediately like, okay, this shit is gonna be fucking good because the cover art is creepy as shit. I love it. So going into the EP, Take Me Under is a great fucking song. I think you nailed it perfectly. The vocals are haunting, as well as the instrumentals as well. But the instrumentals kind of have more of a normal approach to kind of the haunting vibe, where it's the vocals themselves are really driving in the siren-y kind of like fucking creepy ass vibe that you're getting from the entire record.
Yeah.
My personal favorite is Forever Overdose. That song is heavy as shit, and the vocals match so well with that. I think she did her fucking job on that song. She could have dropped a record and it was just Forever Overdose like 10 times, and I would have been like, dude, this is fucking album of the year. This is incredible. I love that song. I can't rave enough about it. I heard that shit and I immediately said, wait, roll that shit back. I need to hear that. I need to hear that a couple more times.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think Fatal Attraction is a great closer. I think Take Me Under is a great opener. Death of Me is also really fucking good. I believe that was one of the singles that she dropped for it. So great fucking pick on that. But I cannot stress enough, Forever Overdose is that song. For me, it's the fucking Necessary Evil, where it's just kind of like, it's kind of this like chiller, but you know, kind of more rock vibe throughout the entire record, and then just fucking out of nowhere, she's just fucking screaming in my face, and I'm like, holy shit. And then there are fucking crazy ass drum beats and crazy fucking guitars, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then it's just right back to normal, like nothing happened again with Death of Me. Great EP. I love it so much. The cover art is insane and I love it. I think the entire package is wonderful and it's all very cohesive and it makes sense to my eyes and my ears. Great EP. Fuck yes.
Hell yeah. And as I mentioned, she'll be touring in the fall. Bring Me the Horizon, Motionless in White, The Plot in You, that massive tour, part 1, ripping through part of the United States in September and October. So peep the dates if she's coming near you. If that tour is coming near you, you should definitely go. That's a fucking phenomenal bill. Don't miss it. I'm pissed it's not coming closer to me.
Jesus.
I texted Glory when it went up. I was like, you think I should fly to North Carolina for this? I'm not, but I thought about it for a split second, because I was like, wait a minute, those flights aren't half bad and the bill is packed. But I'm just fingers crossed that it's the same bill part 2.
Yeah, I might go to North Carolina for that because I love The Plot in You so much, and that Bring Me the Horizon review kind of changed my life a little bit.
And Motionless in White.
I might be there.
Yeah.
I might be there. But then again, it's such a big venue that it makes me go like, why aren't you in like a basement? You know? Like then I would be like, no joke. Like I would go charge the same ticket prices, you know, $200, sure. But like big venues, they lose the energy for me because, you know, like, what do you mean the sweat's not gonna fucking flick off on me? I'm gonna go, ew, what the fuck? That's gross. It's like, that shit ain't
ew, what the fuck? Happen. That's gross.
Exactly. That's what I want to think. But it's like, when it's in a big fucking venue, I'm like, dude, I can hear him well, but like, I can't even see him, you know? Because I'm all the way in the fucking bleachers, you know? So that's
Teach
my hot
their
take.
own.
In Whatever. Invent, Animate, and Silent Planet dropped their collaborative EP, Bloom in Heaven. This, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't been this excited for a release in so fucking long that Friday morning, I'm telling you, Friday morning, I woke up 5:30 a.m. First thing I roll over, I check the time, I go, yeah. I put on my headphones,
Yeah.
I cue this fucking EP. And I genuinely, not since like Tyler dropped, even then I think I waited a little bit to listen to the Tyler record. It's just like I was hype. I was ready. I was excited. I love Silent Planet so much. Silent Planet, I love you so much. Great band. Return to One, the single that they dropped with the announcement of this EP, the one that got me excited. Still incredible song. This track is so fucking good. It's chaotic, it's poetic. It's just a amalgamation of fucking beautiful just it's so good. I love it so much. I think it's the perfect blend of both of the bands. Um this is truly the collaborative track, in my opinion, the one where it's equally Silent Planet and Invent Animate. All of the Light Is Gone to me is more of an Invent Animate track featuring Silent Planet, and then Armageddon Eyes is more of a Silent Planet track featuring Invent Animate. So I think how they did it is very fucking cool. I love this EP so much. But Return to One is the song where it's, to me, it feels very equal to them. Armageddon Eyes is my second favorite, and then All the Light Is Gone is my third favorite. Again, it's top three because it's a fucking 3-track EP. I wish there was more. I cannot say this enough. Silent Planet, Invent Animate, you guys did something special with this EP. This will be on my album of the year list. It's 3 fucking songs. I don't know how, but it's gonna be up there.
That's ballsy.
I don't know where exactly. It's gonna be up there. I cannot get enough of this, especially Return to One. That song, it tickles my brain. It tickles it, my brain giggles and laughs and goes, stop it, stop it. But this shit is so fucking good. I love this EP a lot. That's all I got. I'm gonna stop talking.
All right. That was interesting. I love this collaboration, and I love even more so the reason why this collaboration came about. It was pretty much, Silent Planet took a chance. I'm giving the super abridged version. Silent Planet took a chance on Invent Animate when Invent Animate was at a lower point in their career. And there were people in Silent Planet's camp advising them not to do that for obvious reasons. Like Silent Planet, up and coming band, should be bringing out bands that will also, are also hot and, provide ticket value to whatever it be, industry bullshit 101. But Silent Planet said, fuck that, this band's dope, and brought them out. And that kind of revitalized Invent Animate's career. And obviously since then you've seen what has happened with Heavener. Absolutely unbelievable. That's a phenomenal album. And even Silent Planet has had their own moments separate of that with their most recent record, Super Bloom. Been crazy to watch both of these bands kind of take off at the exact same time. But I love that it originated from Silent Planet being like, this band's fucking dope. I don't care where they're at. They're dope. We're bringing them on tour. And now they're able to, go out on tour and celebrate both of those absolutely massive releases for them, playing both of those albums in full together on a co-headlining tour with phenomenal support, by the way, from 156 Silence and Alt. And then get to do a collaboration EP. I completely agree with you in terms of the way that the songs are split up. I was picking up on that as well, which I thought was cool. But yeah, it's exactly what I would expect from these two bands getting together and doing 3 songs together. It's just the right amount of chaos, because it is a lot. It is a lot. It's 2 different bands that have similar-ish sounds, but Invent Animate is a little bit more not like atmospheric, but like big, whereas like Silent Planet is a little bit more gritty and dirty, and you combine those 2 sounds and it does kind of create a cacophony of noise if not done properly. It's obviously done properly, but it is kind of a lot to initially digest, which is why for me, like the single, I was like, this is dope, but like, why am I not totally fawning over this? I don't understand why, but now listening to the project, I understand why, and it's because it's just a lot to take in. You know, those two sounds. But I think they knocked it out of the park for sure. It's awesome. On paper, I knew that this was going to be a phenomenal collab, and in actuality, it is fantastic. You know, highly recommend checking it out. And if you're a fan of either of these bands, as I said, they're co-headlining, playing their most recent albums in full every night with phenomenal support. Again, from 156 Silence and Alt. That's a phenomenal lineup. If it's going near you, you should absolutely go. Peep the dates.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Oh,
Trust and believe. I'm gonna be there some way, somehow. If I miss this, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. I'll understand, because I'm sure there will be reasons. But I'm trying, because I gotta see Super Bloom live. I got that record fucking changed something in my brain. I don't know what. I love Silent Planet so much. Have I said that? Have I said that enough?
You have.
Anyways.
You have. Chevelle dropped their new single, Rabbit Hole Cowards Part 1. They're also going on a tour supporting new music. There's more new music coming. This is the first of it, with support from Asking Alexandria and Dead Poet Society. That's a great bill. I will be there in New Jersey. I am excited to finally see Dead Poet Society. Hurt has been on repeat for me these days. But I finally understand Chevelle. I also feel like this song is more of a return to form for them, whereas that most recent record, which was 4 years ago at this point,
damn.
I remember covering it and being like, okay, I don't understand why people like Chevelle at all. What the fuck was that song? Or sorry, what the fuck was that album? And that was no offense to them, but this feels
genuine question.
Yeah, this feels like a return to form in the sense of like, I went and saw them live last year because our friends in Return to Dust opened for them, and I wasn't about to miss Return to Dust's first time in New Jersey. And I stayed for Chevelle because I was like, you know, I'm not super sold on the band, but like, you know, I'll stick around. I'm here already. Made the drive, might as well. You know, Return to Dust played for like 20 minutes, so I'm not just gonna fucking turn around. It took me longer to get there.
I was gonna say the drive is longer.
Yeah, the drive was an hour and a half, and I sat in traffic. I'm gonna watch Chevelle.
I've done it before, though.
Yeah,
I've done it before.
And I was totally blown away and understood why Chevelle played with these other bands that I'm all a fan of, that all came up at the same time, that late 90s, early 2000s new metal, hard rock kind of stuff. And I feel like this song is a return to form in that sense, where it sounds like the stuff that they were playing that night, which is all stuff from their older catalog. And I like it a lot because I was digging what I was hearing from Chevelle way more than that album that we had discussed years ago. And I'm excited. I'm excited for this rollout. I'm locked in. I've been hearing the song a lot. It's been on Octane. That's actually the first time I heard it. Just driving around this weekend, and I didn't mean to. I like my first listen to be like for when I'm sitting down to listen to review the music, unless I'm excited to hear it. Like I wasn't chomping at the bit to hear the newest Chevelle song. And that's no offense to Chevelle. It's just I'm not there yet in terms of enjoying the band. Where I'm like
dogging on them unintentionally.
I don't mean to dog on them. I think they're dope, but I wasn't chomping at the bit to hear the newest song because I'm not there yet in terms of being a fan of the band. So I heard it in passing 9 times this weekend. It's getting a lot of airplay. I'm going to hear this song a bunch.
Yeah.
You know how many total sidebar. You know how many times I've streamed the new 3 Days Grace song? Mayday?
Twice.
Probably for the podcast. You want to know how many fucking times I've heard it? 157. And that's not exact, but it's probably damn close because it's on Octane every other fucking time I turn on my goddamn car. And I feel like this song's going to be next. Shout out Chevelle. I'm sorry for accidentally ragging on you a million times during this review. I just didn't like your most recent album, but I'm excited for whatever's coming. And I'll leave it at that. This song was dope, and I can't wait to hear it 9,000 times over the course of the next few weeks on Sirius Octane.
Shout out Octane Core.
Shout out Octane.
Shout out Octane. Hell yeah. I thought the song was great. I only know their one song. I think it's The Red, which I think it's their biggest song ever, and I think that song is fucking awesome. So hearing that and being uber familiar with that song and then going to this was such an easy process for me. It was exactly what I wanted from Chevelle. So I completely agree with you when you say that it does feel like a return to form because it's that kind of like grungy rock metalcore kind of vibe, and I think it's fucking awesome. Great song. I I don't really remember their last record, which says a lot. I'm gonna be so real. I kind of forgot that they dropped a record 5 years ago, however fucking long ago. Um, so to me, this is starting with a clean slate. Welcome back, Chevelle. It's been so long since you've dropped a record, and I'm so excited to see that this is the direction you're going. I think it's a great fucking track. Very happy with it.
Hell yeah.
Split Chain dropped their new single, Born Tired Torn.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Announced their new album, dropping here in a little bit. Saw this band for the first time in January, opening for Silverstein. It was also the first time over here in the U.S. They're going to be back in the U.S. around the time of that album release, doing some headlines as well as some various support shows. I think that this song is awesome. I really dig the vibe of this band, and I'm excited to hear the album in full. But I'm digging this song a lot.
I completely agree. I think this song's fucking awesome. It starts out like super fucking heavy, and then it gets to this kind of like melodic, like really pretty bit in the middle. And I think just it carries on from the middle all the way to the end with just kind of like a lighter metalcore take. I think it's fucking awesome. Great song. This was a good pull. Again, it's just kind of another one of those where I went, Shane, what the? Oh, okay.
See, not all of the Shane Wild cards are bad.
But they're there.
They're there for sure. They have been.
We all have it. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Linkin Park dropped their new single, Up From the Bottom. This comes off of the deluxe edition of their most recent record, From Zero. The deluxe edition, I believe, comes out in May. I'll let you go since you were literally raising your hand like we're in a classroom. I know. I have a feeling I know exactly what your opinion on this song is.
I fucking hate Linkin Park, is my opinion. This is for the people who are like, oh, Linkin Park doesn't sound like Linkin Park anymore because there's a woman. This is fucking Linkin Park, and this is why I never liked Linkin Park. This sounds exactly to me, obviously with a different lead vocalist, 1-to-1 of Linkin Park in the early 2000s, and that's what pisses me off. Granted, I did not like their record. I did not like it. Just plain and simple, not a fan. This track, it has the grungy, edgy little fucking rap part in it, and it just sounds Linkin Park has always just been cringy to me. I guess I've never been able to put it into words, but I guess cringe is the best way to explain it. Growing up, forcing myself to consume Linkin Park because everyone and their mother loved it in the scene. So I was like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I love Linkin Park? I just can't.
Fair enough.
It's just not good in my opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of it. And this song is the perfect example of why I'm not the biggest fan of it. It just doesn't compute. I don't get it, and I don't like it.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. This song reeked of B-side to me. Like I thought that the album was, all things considered, pretty strong. I haven't spent a ton of time with it since then because there were so many albums that came out around it that I was very excited for, that I was just kind of initially blown away by the singles, mainly The Emptiness Machine, and I was like, all right, I think I like the new iteration of Linkin Park. Despite not really enjoying previous stuff, bought a fucking ticket to see them live, so I'm gonna have to figure that whole thing out.
Damn, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna have to figure that out soon. But this just reeks of B-side to me. It's not as strong as any of the songs off of the album, and that's fine. It's literally a B-side. It's a additional song off of the upcoming deluxe off the album. So it's literally that. It's literally a B-side. But there's so many times on here where we're like, why was this song not on the album? And this to me is like the definition of why this song wasn't on the album.
We're not questioning it this
Not,
time.
I didn't question it at all. I heard the song. I'm like, damn, wow, yikes. Yeah, it's okay at best, and I'm just gonna keep trying to figure out how I'm gonna get into Linkin Park's entire discography before I see them in August. So I'm gonna get back to that now.
Volumes dropped their new single Sidewinder. This song's a fucking ass beater. This shit's awesome. I mean, fuck, we love Volumes here. Big Volumes fan podcast right here. We almost changed the name to Volumes fan. Well, two. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't even know where that bit was supposed to go. I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry. So great song. I think it's a fucking ass beater. I mean, it starts off and immediately fucking kicks you in the face. Insane little breakdown at the end. I think it's just fucking awesome. The drums, especially, are fucking crazy on this one. I don't know why, but they stand out, not like a sore thumb, but they stand out like a beautiful fucking rose. And I think it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd ever see Volumes again. Honestly, we had them on the podcast so fucking long ago, and they've been like dead silent since then. Like that might have also, because we interviewed them when they were on tour, that might have also been the last tour they did. I genuinely have no idea. I don't know where this band has went.
Was that 2022?
It was 2021. That was a long fucking time ago. I remember that vividly, and
no, I remember that one too.
And I thought I was like, we're never hearing from this band again. So them being back is
the band.
Yeah, the band being back is a pleasant surprise. I'm really digging this song. Stoked to have them back. You know, assuming that this means some sort of cycle. Hopefully not one song and then they disappear for another 4 years. But appreciate you guys being back. Happy to have you back. Song absolutely rips, and stoked for more.
Damn straight.
Oh yeah. And for our last topic of the night, Evanescence dropped their new single Afterlife, which comes from the Netflix series Devil May Cry. I think the song's cool. It's definitely, it's not, obviously it's written for a TV show, but it's got that Evanescence feel to it, which is cool. I also heard this on Octane while I was driving, so I was like, okay, it got the world premiere a day before on Octane, so I was like, I was like, okay, it's not gonna be like a cover or some shit. Like it's a real track. And I think the song's cool. Like it's got that Evanescence feel. Exactly what you expect from them is what you get. And I'm sure it fits the show well. I won't fucking watch it. And that's no offense to the series. I just won't watch it.
Yeah, you don't watch movies. You don't watch shows.
Yeah, but the song's cool.
Hell yeah. No, I think the song is great. Again, I've been seeing, because I watch shit, I've been seeing a lot of ads on Netflix specifically for this show. I think it's an anime, I'm pretty sure. Like one of those anime. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what I thought. Or at least that style of art. And it made me go, oh, cool. And then I just kind of like moved on because Devil May Cry, for whatever reason, my brain was like, oh, they're trying to fucking rip off of Devilman Crybaby or Devilman, the original and the better version of Devilman. And then I looked and it's not even close to the same thing.
Spin off of the video game Devil May Cry.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just, I just saw Devil Cry and I went, yeah, fuck you guys, you know? So I take it back. Sorry, Netflix. Sorry. I think it's a great song. I mean, I think her vocals are absolutely insane on this one. She's belting. She's doing the whole Evanescence thing where it's just the very big theatrical vocals. And I think it's awesome. Evanescence is always a band that I kind of like tapped my chin at of like, why have I never gotten into this band? Especially just because of the vocals and how iconic they are. I mean, everyone always notes Evanescence as just like one of those bands where it's like a staple in the scene. So hopefully I can get into them sometime soon because this song piqued my interest. Because I mean, if you're able to pull off a soundtrack song and still have majority of the songs sound like something that could have been ripped off of one of your albums, I think that's a fucking win and an insane power move for a band. So great song, big fan.
It might have something to do with their whack release schedule, where there's no layout at all.
It's not like every 2 years or anything.
No, and it does consistently baffle me. Like it might actually keep me up at night sometimes about how this band has managed to get so big despite having such an inconsistent release schedule. And I listen. I understand that they had a massive moment with the first record, Bring Me to Life, and then had a few smaller moments with that same album, as well as other songs. I saw them live and I was like, I can't believe I know this song too. They've had their moments, but looking at their discography and looking at all the scattered different years that stuff came out, there's really no consistency. And I think that's part of it. Because like you get into Evanescence and then there's 5-year wait for an album. Like we're on year 4.
Can't do that.
We're on year 4 for the after the most recent record of waiting for new music. So that might have something to do with it, but it might actually keep me up at night trying to figure out how this band has maintained their popularity. These are the things I think about on any given night, in case anyone wanted to scope into my brain.
Mysteries.
But that's all the topics we have today. You can follow us on Twitter. It's Good Noise _Cast. Instagram is Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. YouTube is Good Noise Podcast. The audio streaming services, they're all Good Noise Podcasts. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Glory's got your Patreon supporters, your Twitch subs, your important plugs, your merch store plug, your Amazon storefront plug. And we're going to sign off.
Woo! Patreon supporters, thank you to Matt from Pulses, Pop Punk Apologist, David Arrington, Tyson from Heal the Hurt, and Eric. And thank you to our Twitch sub, Matt, again from Pulses. Check out our merch. It is goodnoisepodcast.creator-spring.com. It has t-shirts, hoodies. We don't have socks. We do not have socks. Check out our Amazon storefront. It has all of our equipment that we use to do the podcast. It has cameras, mics, fucking monitors. It has everything you could dream of. Important plugs: Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, Free Palestine, Be a Decent Person, respect band members at shows, respect people at shows. Just because they're on stage doesn't mean you can like do whatever the fuck or say whatever the fuck to them. They're still people. Don't be fucking weird. I've heard too many things about people just stepping over, and it's just fucking weird. It's just weird. Just be a decent person.
Hell yeah. Well, other than that, I have been Shane.
I have been Glory.
And we have been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.